Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9LIVE. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we have Ty. Tyler, what's up?
What's going on, Nardo?
Just you and I once again. Yeah, the very last time we had NS9LIVE, it was just you and I.
You know what? He does do Starbucks. And you know what? He did Sicko Sound Off a couple Fridays ago. So Jim's been a little bit busy.
No excuses. Those are just obligations, which he's ran out on another one tonight.
Well, I'm giving him a little bit of a benefit of the doubt here.
Whatever.
I'm trying.
You're a team player. You're the nice guy. So
you know what? Nobody's ever called me the nice guy ever.
Correct.
Also, can we just give me 1 second? It felt way too weird.
Okay, fair.
Just felt
weird.
You
are actually kind of always on that side of the screen. Like no matter what I feel.
I am. Yeah. I don't like being on. I felt awkward looking at you on the right-hand side. And for those listening on the podcast, our directionals were a little bit off, but we're here.
There it is. But we are here. We're here once again, Tyler. It's been a very, very slow week once again. We thought we were going to get away with it. Last week, it was like, you know what? We have the fanboys, so we don't have to talk Pirates baseball since there's not a whole lot to talk about. But, in 2 weeks, there'll be something to talk about. Well, it's 2 weeks later, Tyler, and there's nothing to talk about.
No, there's nothing's happened. And this is a slow part of the season. It is what it is. Normally, I think maybe we'd have some prospects to talk about. This year, like Arizona Fall League, like Tamar Johnson is a thing, but just a big ol'
Yeah, no, I get it. Anthony's, as you mentioned, Anthony Murphy here just saying how the Fall League's keeping him sane. And of course, Anthony Murphy is insane. So this type of stuff definitely keeps him sane. And as you know, all year long we had him Starbucks. You want anything prospects, check out Anthony Murphy and the rest of the guys at Bucks Dugout. Plenty of stuff, plenty of discussion and talk about the AFL right now also. But yeah, as far as Pirates news, there's not a whole lot. Now there is some news. We'll talk about that and we'll riff here and we'll talk about some stuff as well. Generally speaking about baseball, specifically speaking about Pirates. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's the one thing, it's the offseason, but it's not quite the offseason yet. The Pirates are just kind of sitting tight. They made their rash of moves early on in October for the firings. And since then, there haven't been too many hirings to replace them, albeit there was one just last night that we're going to talk about today as well. But yeah, just a lot of, like you said, dullness in Pirates world.
Yeah, a whole bunch of it. I don't know, man. There's 1 month of the season where I feel like we just get away from Pirates baseball, and obviously we could talk some World Series, but it's a pretty decent matchup. But really, we're all here for talk Buccos and the two teams that are in the World Series. I don't know if we really want to compare the Pirates to them.
Well, I don't think you can compare.
Yeah,
for sure. But there is a question in the chat. We'll answer that. But before we do, BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. Every stat, matchup breakdowns, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games, with the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA to political props. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here. So yeah.
So DiNardo, You
What's up?
just mentioned that we can bet on the political candidates. Who are you picking for the political candidate?
We are not yeah.
I
Listen,
couldn't
there's
even
not
get
much to
through
talk
it.
about. We are not going down that path
I
on this
couldn't
show.
even get through it. So, which one you picking?
Right. So the question here by Mark, as I just sidestep that one, elephant in the room. Trump or Harris? No. Elephant in the room. Is New York versus LA good or bad for baseball? You know what? I think this is good because for one, there's not a lot to talk about. And for two, this is something that I think a lot of people have been talking about. And I think it does kind of relate to Pirates world.
Mm.
I think a lot of people think these two teams, I don't want to root for them. This is terrible. This is bad. And I guess my point of view on this is good for baseball. It's good for baseball. There's not, I guess, like there's not too many things that like, oh, this is bad for baseball. Oh my God, that this happened is bad for baseball. The two teams that came out on top are playing each other. It just so happens to be LA and New York. And you know what? Two of the largest markets. Shohei Ohtani is literally shutting down Japan right now so they can watch this. Um, that's good for baseball.
Yeah, it's obviously good for baseball. Like, we're obviously in a small market here. But if you look at even the NBA, there's a reason they want the Lakers and the Celtics playing in pretty much every NBA finals. And the Celtics is in Boston. I know it's a smaller market, like smaller market, quote unquote, but it's historic. It's two franchises that matter. And I'll take it a step further. I think it's good for the Pirates that two large market teams are in the World Series. Because as long as two large market teams make it to the World Series, in my weird brain, and my brain is weird, we all know it. If two large market teams are there, maybe that just shows anybody in this organization that, hey, you can't get by being the Tampa Bay Rays. I want large markets in the World Series every single year of my life for my own little weird brain here. So that when people look back and go, oh, large market, large market, large market, I don't want the Rays to make it. Because when the Rays make it, it makes these stupid people in Pittsburgh think that, oh, we could do that. No, you can't do it that way. You have to be special. So give me every large market team in the postseason, every large market team in the World Series, just because I needed to come back on the Pirates and go, hey, the way you're doing it is not working. There's not another way.
Can I wholeheartedly disagree with everything that you just said?
Sure.
You're wrong. And
That's fine.
I respect your viewpoint. I understand where you're coming from with it. And absolutely. But I guess if we're bringing this to Pirates world, that gives them every out to say, well, it can't be done. So why try? I know how you're saying because of how the Rays operate. I don't want to see them there because the Pirates will then emulate that. And you don't like Rays baseball. I respect that. And I understand that viewpoint. However, by the Rays getting in there, by the Guardians getting in there, by these type of teams getting in there, that now leaves you no excuse. It can be done. So what's your problem? Now, on the other aspect of this, I don't think they care. I don't think they're looking at this saying, "Oh, it's the New York and LA teams that are in here. What's this mean for us?" Or I don't think they're looking and saying, "Oh, it's Tampa and it's Cleveland. What's this mean for us?" I don't think they care.
I think that, no, I do think that's fair. And obvious, but to counterpoint that, I think that the Rays being there and they see it happen year after year, it hasn't mattered to this point. So where I'm at mentally is that I need all large market teams in the postseason. I need the small folks, just bury them. They can all be terrible. I don't want them even sniffing the World Series because I feel like 5 years later, maybe we can all look at it and go, hey, something's wrong here. Like, why is it the same teams over and over and nobody else stands a chance? Granted, this is just me just trying to figure out a way for this to work for everyone where we can go to a CBA and hey, the Dodgers have been here every year.
So more or less, you want it to break baseball.
I would prefer it to break baseball. I think that's the only way we can do at this point.
So you want
want baseball
total destruction.
Broken. Yes.
You want everyone to now you do want nutting and all the other small markets that had the excuse of there's no point of trying because it can't be done. So therefore baseball's broken. So now let's revolt and fix it.
I need it to be proven that this isn't working because at this point, I'm on my last chance. The Rays have shown it can be done, and they are ridiculously smart enough to figure it out. I don't need them to be ridiculously smart enough to figure it out. I need them out of the way because they're the only damn team holding us back here. Let's figure this out together. Let's all just collude, make this miserable, and we'll just have Yankees Dodgers every year. Screw it.
Let's all collude.
Until we fix it.
Collude for the demise of their own teams. That's funny. But
at this point, I don't know what the other choice is as a Pirates fan. I don't know.
Right. Tyler's looking for that extinction level event.
Oh, yeah. Some people like to watch world burn. I'm one of them.
Hey, I enjoy my moments. And so again, like now I understand that aspect of it. So you're thinking much larger picture. Yeah, and that I can get. If we're going to fix baseball, then let's have Yankees, Dodgers every single year.
Yep.
And now it can't be done. So we're coming to the CBA. And now you have the power behind the small markets to revolt against the large markets and say, this is how we're going to fix it.
Yeah, like there's a part in Moneyball, the book, where Billy Beane would go to whatever meeting it was, and he would cry poor every single year. And it obviously got nowhere, but that's what I need. I need, well, not to that extent, because the A's obviously are a sore subject right now, but I need these small market teams to just bind together and let's figure this out. And just fix baseball because there are way too many teams that are just so irrelevant every single year. And all you can hope for is that 1 to 2 to 3 year window. And that's what we have right now. And we already wasted one of those years.
Yeah, I get it. I guess not to go too deep into this and dwell much longer in that aspect. But all the teams and all the owners said, you know what, we're cool with Oakland leaving. And all the teams and all the owners said, you know what? We're cool with the way the CBA is set up as it is. So I guess part of me is also saying that even with this broken system, as you allude to, I don't know if they're going to really do what you're hoping it would lead to. I don't
either. But I'm out of options here.
I get it.
I'm trying.
Right.
And look, I get the people in the chat here, like Marcus in here, like, why would it necessitate change? It wouldn't. But what we're doing is not working either. So I'm just trying anything here.
Yeah.
I'm tapped out. I'm trying. Give me anything.
Well, I mean, at least you are trying.
Yeah. Behind the scenes. Rooting for things.
At least you are trying. But no, I guess like back to the original question too, like, is this good for baseball? Big picture, ultimately, yes. Yes. And like, it's not as if it is Yankees, Dodgers every single year. You know, it's like the argument is like large markets, you have a large, payroll, you're going to get there. And it doesn't just necessarily happen. Yes, they have an advantage. I totally get that. There is an advantage there, but it's not as if it is Yankees, Dodgers every single year. This time it is. It worked out to be that way. And you know what? Again, like I think there's definitely some storylines to this, some good stuff to this. I mean, you have arguably you have the top 3 hitters in baseball all in this series: Soto, Judge, and Ohtani. And as I mentioned, I don't know what the show is. I don't come at me because I don't know what the hell this Japanese show is. But I guess this Japanese show is premiering in Japan, and they've actually postponed it so that way the World Series can play. I mean, this is what we're talking about. This is what Shohei Ohtani means to the entire country of Japan right now. I don't know what to relate this show to. Obviously, they made it sound like it's pretty prevalent. So what's that show over here? What's the number 1 show in the US? I don't know. Is it some stupid America's Got Talent? Is it The Voice? Is it I don't know. Like does that get delayed because
They postponed
Aaron
The
Judge
Voice,
is on TV?
the Japanese version.
What's that?
They postponed The Voice Japanese version.
Right? But like that's what I'm alluding to. Like some TV show is premiering and debuting, and they said, whoa, Shohei Ohtani's gonna be on. That takes prevalent. And that's amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, like Pirates were relatively close with Paul Skeens. Like Louisiana probably shut down.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's obviously not to that extent. But wouldn't it be sweet if Ohtani would have been a Pirate? Like he could have been.
Yeah. It could have been. There's actually a good chance they would have won just as many playoff games.
Yeah. They could have won as many as the Angels did.
Yeah. Very much so.
Would have been sweet.
There is that. But that didn't happen. That did not work out, unfortunately. But yeah, again, that's where I'm at with the World Series. I'm going to like this. I'm going to enjoy it. I still have Yankees in 6.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone back and forth on it. I think the pitching matchups kind of line up Yankees. Like the Dodgers don't have good pitching, but they have Ohtani. Like Flaherty, Buehler. Buehler's been bad. Flaherty hasn't been very good since being a Dodger. Don't remember the other one, but it's not great.
Looks like they're all injured too.
Yeah, like
all these bullpen games.
Yeah, it's kind of an ugly pitching matchup. Like we don't get, I don't know, like prime Kershaw and Garrett Cole going neck and neck. Just kind of gross, all the pitching matchups.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm with you. It's more or less
full disclosure. I think I am speaking for most Pirates fans. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
I think you do speak for most Pirates fans. That's why I thought this was a pretty good question, because I think a lot of Pirates fans are kind of checked out, which alludes to why it's also a good question, because it is 2 large markets. I mean, 2 very large fan bases, Yankees and Dodgers, right? But it's also 2 fan bases that people hate. You know, it's not where like people are surrounded and clamoring on to one. There's a lot of people that hate them, and so they're tuning out. So it's like, I don't know if this is going to draw as many as maybe people are thinking, because I think there's a lot of people that just say, oh, those guys, I don't want either of them to win. What time's The Voice on?
Right. Old Gwen Stefani, she might pick a good one. Yeah, I'm
still
with
on
you.
it, isn't she?
Yeah, Blake's gone.
Snoop's on it now too.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Also, like, what is Snoop Dogg gonna pick up a voice?
Apparently, he's really big in the country.
Is he?
I mean, I don't know, but apparently.
I mean, he's big in Martha Stewart, and we know how my feelings are on Martha Stewart.
We know how you feel about Martha Stewart, yeah.
I'm just saying, like 82, she ain't bad. Anywho.
Yeah. Anyways, we didn't know this was going to lead to a Martha Stewart conversation, but here we are.
But we're fine.
18 minutes into the show. We are 18 minutes into the show, so we should probably talk about a few things here, huh?
Sure.
Or else, did you have any other World Series things you want to wrap up with?
No, I think I'm with you on the Yankees, though. I think the Yankees do pull this one out. Too many bats. Like, Ohtani can't carry them that far. Like, one bat can't really do it for you. And the pitching matchup, like, I'm not counting on Buehler. I'm not counting on Flaherty. I don't love the Yankees matchup as well, but you look at them big 3. That's tough. At some point, those guys are going to come through.
They still have Mookie. There's still one-legged Freddie Freeman.
But the Dodgers they're not the Dodgers you think you're going into the World Series with.
Yeah. That's for sure. All the pitching fell apart.
Yeah, they're just,
Yamamoto
is... Now, granted, I would not be... Thank you. Gosh. Yamamoto's the 3rd one that they're throwing. And I don't know, man. It's just... I don't see it. I can't see those three leading this team to a World Series.
Yeah, he's the $300 million man.
God, Clay Holmes
Not that he's
gonna
been a bad
save
pitcher
the
by any
World Series,
means,
isn't
but
he?
I don't know if he's been that guy. You know, like they have Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole will go out there and win a game. I don't know if he's going to go out there and win a game. That you're going to need to, maybe. So
Garrett
that's
Cole's starting
again,
game one, isn't he?
I imagine. I don't know
Yeah, I
if I
think
haven't
it's
seen it
Garrett
officially,
Cole and
but
Flaherty game one.
he's got to be.
I think. But also, I can see Garrett Cole getting lit up. Like, Garrett Cole just has that feel to me where he's going to get lit up. Because he has like a 5.01 ERA against the Dodgers. And I'm sorry, Garrett Cole just always looks so hittable.
You say he always looks so hittable, but like
He
he goes out
does.
there and has like Cy Young seasons almost every
I know,
single
but
year.
like when
You're sounding like
push,
half the Pirates fan base. Oh, Garrett
I
Cole really
know
wasn't that good when he was here. Yes,
yeah,
he
he
was.
was. Well, I don't know if I buy that. I don't think he was that good. He had a year.
Anyways, moving forward.
He had a year where like half the year he was good. Outside of that, like he was very hittable. And I 5.01 ERA, I think, against the Dodgers in his career, or maybe this year or in his career. I don't know, man. I just You know what? I'll put it out there right now. Garrett Cole's giving up 4 earned runs in game one.
Okay.
4. At least 4.
There it is. Well, I guess here's the thing. It could happen.
It will.
Because Garrett Cole,
Already predicted it's fine.
no matter what, was a Pirate. You know, and that remains with you at all times, right? He was a Pirate. That's in him. And you know who was a Cardinal? There was a MVP of the series who was a Cardinal who now is going to face Garrett Cole. So the Cardinals' devil magic also something that never leaves you, as we talk about, right? So I'm just saying, Edmund's probably going to go ahead and wreck Cole. He is going to back clean up probably as he's been, and he's going to hit that 4-run grand slam. So there it is.
Dude, he's gonna throw that flat ass 4-seam fastball, and it's just gonna get tanked.
Right. But no, I have faith in Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is a stud. Playoffs are about your studs, and he is going to go out there and shove just like he did with Houston. And I think the Yankees go ahead and win a World Series again.
Yeah, I don't like Garrett Cole anymore. I think he's a baby. But that's a song for another time.
Apparently not.
Yeah, he whined about the whole like substance stuff, and him and Glass now both can go pound salt.
Whatever. I enjoyed both of them.
That's fine. I think they're both turds. Pissed on them both.
Anyways.
I ride with my guys. Bailey Falter. Ride with my guys. Piss on them. You have your Garrett Cole. I'll take my Bailey Falter and Johan Oviedo.
Hey, where's my Chad Cole?
Yeah, give me Chad
He's
Cole.
still
He
doing
whine.
his thing.
He
No
didn't
team has
whine.
been able to figure him out yet. He was over
Yeah.
the White Sox. They put in the bullpen. They almost had him figured out, but then he kind of fell off a little bit here again.
Yeah, I wish
Someone's
Jose
going to finally look
Quintana
at
was
Chad Cole
pitching
and
right
figure him
now.
out. He's going to be good.
I wish Jose Quintana was in the World Series. I would have rode with that guy. He didn't whine.
He'll be
Garrett
in
Cole,
it next
Tyler
year.
Glass now. Whiners. Piss
As
on
a
him.
Pittsburgh Pirate. Well, back to the stance here. You know, you mentioned how you want to see the big markets go in there because you want the Pirates to fail and, you know, break baseball. And I said we want to see the small markets because we don't want to have the Pirates have an excuse. They can do it. You should do it. And you know what, Tyler? I made a point this off season. I mean, it was maybe 2 weeks ago, to just kind of compare the Cleveland Guardians. You know, I mean, I think a lot of people talk, there goes your head because I know you hate Cleveland, but regardless, hear me out. A lot of people, just like you alluded to right now, have been wanting to compare like the Pirates to the Rays. Like, do the Rays model. Do the Rays model. Follow the Rays. The Rays are cheap. The Rays are poor. They're successful. Do the Rays. And I think what we don't hear enough of, while there's still vastly much similarities between the two regions, cities, landscapes, the Guardians and the Pirates. You know, when you look at their region, their market, very similar to Pittsburgh. You look at the sports landscape. You know, many people argue, well, you know what? You have the Steelers here, you have the Penguins here, you have the Pirates here. Like, it's a smaller market. There's 3 teams here. Well, you know what? You have the Browns, you have the Guardians, you have the Cavs. Like, there's 3 major sports teams there as well. Like, those excuses out the window. How come the Guardians can spend a little bit more money, be successful, sustain success mostly as well? They're able to do it. Pirates, no excuse. Well, you know what? Hey, the Pirates made a move last night. Is this going to be a game breaker? It's going to make, all the difference in the world? No, it's not. However, to me, I don't know much about the guy, but Kevin Tenenbaum, they hired as a new VP of research and development. He comes from the Guardians, also started out with the Orioles. So when you're looking at 2 organizations that have been pretty successful, especially of recent, those are 2 that stand out. 2 good organizations. So if you're trying to pluck people from places, right, to build success, that's something. And again, so the Pirates did hire, they got a new VP of research and development, Kevin Tenenbaum. Again, I don't know much of the guy himself. It's not like I can say, like, this is a great hire because XYZ, but there are some things I want to talk about here. But just off the top, what's your take on this?
Yeah, like you mentioned the Orioles and the Guardians, and I think that's on paper, as Anthony says here in the chat, on paper, it's a good move. You're coming from 2 smaller market organizations, and you look at the Guardians, and they locked up Jose Ramirez early on, like the Pirates did with Andrew McCutchen back in the day. So good moves there. Obviously, the Guardians have done a really good job of finding talent. The Orioles have as well. It's hard to really have much of an opinion on R&D guys, but you look at Ben Sherrington, and he's coming from the Red Sox, and he's coming from the Blue Jays, 2 markets that are a good bit bigger than the Pirates. So this is a guy that has more experience in this type of market. So perhaps that's a good fit there. It's hard to have an opinion on it, but on paper, it looks good. You found a guy that seems like, based on prior experience, is a good fit. You're not grabbing a guy from the Dodgers, for example.
No, I mean, that's fair. I mean, Dodgers are all also top-notch organization. That's where you're plucking someone from there. You think it's good, but you make a good point. It's much easier for the Dodgers. He knows the constraints being in Pittsburgh, being with Cleveland and Baltimore.
Yeah, and I think that, like, when you're looking, I don't know all the ins and outs of the R&D department, but when you're looking at maybe a free agent or things like that, you're going to have a better idea of what the Pirates are going to be looking for. When you're coming from, again, Ben Sherrington, Red Sox, and the Blue Jays, it's a different market. You're shopping in Trader Joe's instead of Aldi's. Like, we're used to shopping at Aldi's.
Trader Joe's is pretty reasonable, by the way. I mean,
no, like Aldi is way cheaper.
Maybe you're at, that's the pricey place, but
we don't have a Trader Joe's close to me. So sorry.
Exactly.
Okay, fine. We're shopping at he's shopping at Meyer and we're shopping at Aldi.
All right, there you go.
Whatever works for you. I think actually Trader Joe's and Aldi are owned by the same people. I don't actually know.
I don't know. Sure. I think there's, I mean, really, if you're looking at that, like Whole Foods and Save a Lot is probably the best way to put it.
I was on the right thing. Yeah, they're owned by the same people. My bad.
See, Aldi has organic food. Like the Pirates can't shop at the organic section.
No.
So again, like Aldi's is still even out of the question. But go ahead.
No, like actually Whole Foods and Aldi. Yes, I'm using my grocery store comparison again, but like the Pirates are in the canned food aisle and everyone else is at the butcher shop here.
Right.
So yeah, they're looking for the best deal here. And this guy's used to finding that best deal. So yeah, hopefully it works. I don't know. It's hard to really give an opinion.
Yeah, I think all that's fair. And I'll say this, we'll have some merit here because he is probably one of the best Cleveland Guardians fans. But Bucko Mike does say Tenenbaum is always mentioned with praise for his development. So again, as like the Guardians' #1 fan, Bucko Mike, he's probably heard some things. So like I'll add that. I'll include that. There's probably some good praise from him. I don't know much about the person. I don't know much about the employee. I don't know anything in that aspect. I can't say like this is good. All I can say is kind of like with the Ben Charrington and you're looking about GMs, back in the day. It's like, well, here's what they have on their platter. What do I like about it? And again, some of the things I do like about it is the fact where he's come from. He looks a bit younger on the young. Yes, I kind of scoped out his IG page. There's not much on him out there. When I'm looking for a picture, because that pictures that I have on the graphic for the show, that's from his wedding. That's all that's out there. But that was actually in Google Images. But it led me to his IG page. Yeah, it looks kind of younger. So here's something here's where I want to go with this. It appears that he's done well. I mean, to get to this level, basically already with how old he appears to be, speaks pretty well for him, pretty highly. Like you've made it here. You're probably pretty smart. You're probably pretty good. What I'm worried on, this is what I'm worried with, Tyler. What I'm worried with, and there's some things that Ford has resonated in my mind right here, because I think we all agree with it, but just in the conversations we had, something stood out, right? Bob's filled with yes men, loves yes men. You're younger, you're new on the job, you're VP of this department. All the information, all the data, all the analytics he gathers and brings and with his intelligence and the reason he got hired here to do this, right? Is he going to push back and say here, or is he going to say, okay, we won't do that then? Okay, we won't do that then. That's all. I don't know how the president. And again, I'm really going deep into this. I'm really going deep into this, right? But again, there's not much I know. The one thing that worries me, if I'm going to have a worry just by looking on this from what I know, it's that he's younger, he's brand new. It's a regime that's now been here for 5 years. We know how they're stuck in their ways. They're smarter than you. They're better than you. They're stubborn. They're hard-headed. It's a bunch of yes men. Is the reason he's hired going to come through?
So what was his prior job with the Guardians? Do you know?
Same
Since
thing.
you prepped
I
so
believe.
hard?
Yeah, same job.
Yeah. I guess if I'm going to put a positive spin on this thing,
Sure.
if I'm that fella, I'm not taking this job with the Pirates unless I know I can do what I basically was hired to do.
That's fair.
I'm not making a relatively lateral move, or at the very least, even if it's a positive move for him. I'm not making that move unless I know I have the option to actually have some input here. So I guess if I'm going to put some faith in some things, that's where I'm doing it, where I don't feel like he would make the move unless he can have a decent bit of input and not just be a yes man.
I think that's very fair. And again, for the fact that it is the same job now, the job itself can mean whatever. Like he could have more reigns in Pittsburgh, even though it has the same title. Like there could have been something that was more attractive. Maybe it was even with money. Like maybe they even said like, "Hey, we want you. We'll give you more money." And anyone's going to take more money. Usually, right? Usually, money speaks. But maybe it was that. Like, hey, here's what we'll do. We know you're good at your job. We want you to show that we want you. Here's more money. Also, here's all that you can do. Like, here's the keys to the city. That could have been the case. Like, you're right. That could have been what made him leave to do the same job in Cleveland to do it here.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But also, if this guy is as smart as I think Like, as his resume apparently shows, he knows what he's walking into. Like, you're walking into potentially being fired after this year. Because if things don't go well, your GM's fired, your head coach is fired, a lot of people are getting fired, and you're part of it. So if you're making that jump, either you got some job security that we don't know about, or you have a lot more freedom than maybe we imagine. And this is all speculation. I have no idea. Neither of us
Of
do, but
course. Yeah.
I'm just thinking in my brain, if I were to take that job, I need some sort of security here. Now, granted, it could just be that he was halfway out the door wherever he was. There's a lot of moving
Maybe they
parts
got
here,
tricked.
obviously. But if you're going from the Orioles and the Guardians and you're going to the Pirates, where your GM is literally on like his last leg, your manager is only here because your GM basically stuck his neck out there. If I'm jumping on that moving train, I better have a choice in all this matter.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, good stuff. And again, all fair. And when I mention that stuff, it's not me saying like this is going to happen.
yeah.
Again, these are just those are the concerns. Just in a nutshell of the very broad aspect of what I can look at of this. That's all.
Also,
Not saying
and
he's going to.
also,
I'm not saying that's going to be a problem, but that's the concern I have with this. That's all. I think it could be a slam dunk hire. I absolutely can. Like that's the thing. Like the Guardians and the Orioles, although it might change a little bit now with the Orioles with new ownership because they seem willing to really spend money there now. But like this is basically where they win. This is how they do it. Yes, it's also, on the field. You have to win, but it's knowing and building that team to put on the field with their constraints to do so, right? It is that researching, developing. So you're not spending $35 million in the offseason to get 3 WAR.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
And I
3
think
WAR is only because on the last day, I don't know how still, but Yasmani Grandal went from a 1.1 WAR to a 2 WAR. Otherwise, it wouldn't be 3 WAR because Yasmani Grandal was a 2 WAR player this year when it was all said and done now, according to Fangraphs. But regardless, like that's what we're alluding to. That's how you do it. They're able to find the players, able to build a team. What's up?
remember when I said the catchers just get given
Yes, I
war
know.
from Fangraphs? I was
I don't
right.
know if we even said this, but so again, I found this out doing our Starbucks show. And I said it to Jim. And I was like, did they update their catching WAR again? Like, I didn't see that. There was some adjustments. I think Bart actually went down like by 0.1 in his WAR. I don't know how or why or what. But what was funny, you said, God, now this gives Tyler more ammo for the whole catchers thing. Yep.
Oh yeah,
I'm
catchers just get given war. But back to Tannenbaum. What's his name? Tannenbaum? Yeah.
Yeah.
him. That fella. I guess the other part is maybe he believes in this team. Maybe he believes in the roster. And also, like if you do look outside looking in, and we talked about what manager position, if they were to get rid of Shelton, why wouldn't you want to take this job? You have Paul Skeens. You have Gerald Jones. You have Mitch Keller. Maybe he's looking at this like this is a step up. If they are good next year, I could be in line for a assistant GM job before you know it. So,
Very good point.
I mean, there's many little facets to this entire thing, but I don't think he would take this job unless there were positive things coming. And maybe that's just me being delusional going into the offseason because we get delusional there.
Well, that's just human nature. You're not
Yeah,
going to take a
naturally.
job that knowing is going nowhere. And again, like you're sitting pretty in Cleveland right now. So I think you make a good point there also. Like you're sitting pretty in Cleveland, but you are sitting pretty in Cleveland. Is that going to get you noticed? To a degree. I mean, they're doing well. Like you're part of that. It will. I mean, that's why we like this. But who's more noted? Like do you take a team that's been terrible and now you stamp it, you're part of the turnaround, right? So like we always talk about Clint Hurdle, like he was part of that, and he'll be revered by Pirates fans for decades because he was part of that turnaround, where Cleveland fans might not remember the manager from 20, 30 years ago because, well, he was good also. We're still good, just what it is, but like everyone's going to remember Clint Hurdle because he was part of that turnaround, right? And I'm not saying that's going to have the same impact, but yeah, like maybe this is like his stepping stone. Like I can use the Pirates to catapult me to where I want to be because I believe in them. If you guys will just do X, Y, Z, I can help get you there. And by me helping get you there, I'm now being coveted as an assistant GM and then as a GM. And this is how I'm going to work my way up. So yeah, very much so. But again, they hired him for a reason. They need to listen to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Because what's happening is not working, obviously.
No.
So new blood. I'm not going to complain about it.
Same. Different voice. A voice that was part of some very good regimes so far.
And also,
let's see what happens.
Donardo, I'm sure you heard about it as well. Like the R&D department in the Pirates organization didn't seem to be very good. So take what we can.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Right. All right. So I think the next thing we'll talk about here a little bit, just to touch on it, because I found it kind of interesting. It's kind of not because they take storm, but it's been a bit of a talk on baseball Twitter. But we know about the challenge system. We know about balls and strikes and what they're doing in the minor leagues. And so there's in a fall league, and the thing that happened for the very first time last night, checked swing. So no more arguing just strikes and balls, but a checked swing, Tyler, was argued. Called a strike, made it 3-2 count, and he said, "Oh, no." And they reviewed it, and it turned into a walk. Take your base. So I want to talk about this a little bit because, again, this is something that's new, and we haven't gotten the challenge system yet in the majors, but I think it's coming. And now with this on top of it, I mean, I guess, like, what are your thoughts on this?
It's going to be a very tough time because check swings to me are like box. I don't really know what it is. Like it's you see it, you know it, but I don't know if there's really a definition to it. Like box, like, yeah, I mean, by rule, I guess that's a balk, but I don't really know. It looks like it. Check swings are the same way to me. You get to a certain point, it's like, yeah, I think he swung. So I do think this is going to cause a lot of problems because I don't know if anyone actually knows what a check swing is. Do you break your arms? Like, did you pass this part? There's never going to be a good enough camera angle to be able to show you that. That's one. I'd rather just have the balls and strikes. We don't need to get that deep into it to me. Because I don't see it. Also, who's going to stop the home plate umpire from ringing him up like a dummy? I guess the challenge system will, but
literally what we're talking about.
The brain's working here. You know what? Brain's working now. My bad. I actually like it if we're just doing the. If we could challenge just the
everything
home
around.
Yep, we're switching it all up.
That's funny. It clicked. It clicked for Tyler. He's on the Grammy delay, but it clicked finally.
Yep, we're working our way through the Tyler brain here. I talked myself through it. I like it if we're challenging the home plate umpire. I don't like it if we're challenging the third or first base umpire because the camera angle's terrible for them. I don't like when the home plate umpire makes the call. Third and first, their call's their call. You can't tell any better because the camera angle is behind it and it's not very good. I'd rather have their eyesight with it.
I can appreciate that. I'll say this. From my understanding, it doesn't matter who makes the call. You challenge it, it goes up for question, they get the replay, it makes the call. There's a problem with the home plate umpire making the call because a lot of times you can't see it. And I think like the Pirates saw quite a few. I'm sure every team, right? But we follow the Pirates. We watch Pirates every game. There was quite a few saw this year. It's like, what? Right? So, but first off, like, why are you also making that call? So I guess I get and understand the challenge system. You know what? I like the challenge system. I've seen it in person with balls and strikes. I think what we were worried about years ago was just the automated strike zone, and now the lack of need for umpires in general. It's just going to be an automated strike zone, which then takes away framing. So now you don't even need defensive catchers anymore. It's like
Don't care.
it's changing the game of baseball. And what they've
Don't care.
done is they've implemented now a challenge system. You have 3 opportunities, 3 challenges. Now, of course, if you win it, you get it back, right? But you have challenges now. So the umpire is still there. The framing is still a skill set that stays in baseball, right? So it doesn't like fundamentally change the game, just as a challenge, which also, as we talked a little bit, the challenges are kind of fun. Again, like me being part of it, I got to experience it and see it. Everyone kind of goes crazy. It's a fun game. It's an experiment. It's not an experience. It's experience. Experience. It's an experience.
We're all saying wrong words tonight.
Right. My brain just started clicking also.
Yeah.
But like, it's kind of fun. And it also like adds strategy, because if you only get 3, am I going to call for the challenge this time or not? And the pitcher, catcher, and hitter are the 3 people that can call for a challenge. So it makes it interesting. I guess with this, it adds to it. Now I can see the problem what you're talking about. Balls and strikes, much less subjective, I guess. Is it in the zone or is it not in the zone? When it comes to a check swing, I guess I get that viewpoint. There's more subjectivity to that. I think you can pretty much nail it, but I don't think it's going to be as perfect as balls and strikes. Like when it goes up there and says, "Hey, this caught the corner." Okay, that was a strike. But when you look up there and say, "Hey, that wasn't a check swing," now you can get into what you're talking about. But my hands in the air, this or that. You know what I mean? Like you can make an excuse of why it wasn't. So I think there'll be some of that, at least for now. But overall, I like it.
Yeah, and real quick. Some guy named Jim Rosati says, "Where's the good-looking guy that's normally on the show?" I'm right here. I'm just wearing a hoodie tonight. It's fine. Normally in t-shirt right here. But back to what you said. I think my problem with it is that I'd prefer if we would just have the home plate umpire on a check swing. Just check it. Like, you don't make that call. And I think that's just common sense for an umpire behind the plate. You check that. You don't ring someone up on strike 3. Or you allow the hitter to point down instead of the catcher. Like, hitter can go down and go, I don't think I swung there. And I think that's a better system and more like normal to baseball system than having to go to a replay for a camera that's in some well that really didn't get a good look, where the announcers are there like, yeah, he was kind of close.
Oh,
Yeah, it
it's
might have
not
been.
so let me make sure you're on the same page here.
Sure.
This isn't like a review like it goes to New York and they look at it.
No, I know.
Oh, okay. This is like TrackMan.
Yeah, but TrackMan's not great. It's not the best thing in the world. Like balls and strikes, how many times we see those things change for like stadium to stadium? Because they're not always perfectly calibrated. I don't like. We see enough strike zone instances where one thing will show it as a strike and then another one won't. So I would rather keep enough human element in the game.
Okay.
And maybe you disagree about the whole TrackMan thing, but like, I think
it's
seen
pretty
enough.
fine-tuned.
It's close.
I mean, we're literally getting the StatCast data right now. That's Bible.
It's not super accurate. Like it okay, it's accurate, but not like
not as accurate.
I don't know if I'm swearing my heart on it.
Third base umpire's eyeballs.
Yeah, but it's baseball, man.
No, I get it. Trust me. Trust me.
Like,
I get it.
also, what kind of track man is gonna swing or track whether it broke a certain point or not?
And that's where I come to what you're saying. Like, there's still a level of subjectivity with this. I feel that isn't perfect.
I I don't trust it yet. Screw the technology. Let's go back to leather
So,
helmets.
so you're good on balls and strikes.
Yeah.
You're not up
Yeah,
to
I don't
this as at least yet.
I would rather do the balls and strikes with the tap on the helmet. I like that. This part I don't love.
Okay,
Until it's fine-tuned enough that I can see something showing me, all right, this is pretty accurate.
got you. Yeah, that's fair. I found it intriguing. I found it interesting because it's like, oh wow, here's something else that they can do. I never even thought about check swings before, really. And here we are, like the video evidence is just telling us if it is or not, just the same way like balls and strikes. And again, I think it's coming. And I'm for the challenge system with balls and strikes. If this is going to be added to it at this point in time, I'm not really against it. Uh, it's been one day. I haven't really been able to like sit down and decipher if this is going to be good or bad. That's why you let it play on the AFL. That's why you bring it to the minor leagues to see more sample size of this and whatnot.
Yeah.
But if this is something that's going to work, I like it. I
You
like
know
it.
what,
I think challenge
Donardo?
systems are fun. And again, limiting them is going to be the thing too. Like if they're getting allowed 3 a game for balls and strikes, how many check swings are you able to have per game?
And you know what, Donardo? Like, I was totally against the pitch clock in general. I love the pitch clock now. So I can be proven wrong and I can correct myself. If it comes out and I remember Jim saying how much time is shaved off minor league games, and I was all for it. So if I see it work, then okay, I'll change my mind. But for right now, I'm still hesitant on it. But if it works, bring it.
That's a good viewpoint. Cool. All right. Yeah. Again, I thought it was interesting, something worth talking about. And again, just kind of wrapping all the challenge system in general. I think the challenge systems are coming. Like I said, I think it would be fun. I think it's going to add a whole nother element to the baseball games. And again, it's like a level of a strategy as well in there. So, what else? Again, to another person's point, comment, where does it stop? Now, that's something you're kind of
Yeah.
towing the line here with. It was balls and strikes. Now it's check swing. It's like, so what else? I don't want everything challengeable. You know what I mean? Like in everything, all you're doing is challenging this, challenging that.
Right.
But a few things like this, I'm cool with.
Yeah.
All right.
If it works, then bring it. But it can't be kind of ridiculous.
I feel that.
And to be fair, I think most of the things they've brought in, I was negative towards. I didn't like shift or the banning the shift.
What?
Turns out I'm
You were
okay with it.
negative?
Yeah, me being negative, never would imagine.
No.
But I didn't like banning shift. I like it. I didn't like the pitch clock. Kind of like it. I mean, maybe this is the next step. Like, if it makes baseball more watchable, where I'm not so angry at umpires, here and there, I'll take it. The
Mhm.
replay system, I think, has been the one part where, just in general, the replay system, that's the one part that has been so frustrating because there's no consistency with it. If they can make this consistent, like they have the pitch clock, like they have shifts, okay. But there can't be a gray area here.
Perfectly summed up. All right, cool. Well, what else do you want to talk about today?
Well, you want to chat a little bit about Derek Shelton going on next year?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
I mean, just
What do you want to chat about?
general thoughts. Because I honestly do wonder going in next year. I think we already hinted at it a little bit. Ben Sherrington and Derek Shelton are on a short leash, I think. If the Pirates start, say, 10-20, does Derek Shelton get fired, or how long of a leash do you give this guy? Because I feel like if we are through April or midway through May and they are 10 games under 500, I don't think there's a way he keeps his job. And obviously, that's not Derek Shelton's MO, where they start hot. But if it flips and they're just not good out the gate, I think it's a very, very, very short leash on him next year. And I just don't know if it's my negative thoughts in here. But I think if they get to a point in May where they're out of it already, not necessarily out of it, but they got to claw back into it.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't see how this team keeps them.
Man, you know my stance. Like, he should be gone today.
We agree.
If they start 10-20 next year, I'm going to be riled up and saying, let's get rid of him. But also, what do I think the Pirates are going to do? Because that's who's making the decision, right? So that's what matters. Is 10 is 30 games enough? Like, would they make that move then? Or are they going to feel like, oh, it's too soon? It's too soon. So here's something I want to bring up too. Just add perspective to this, just conversation. So they open up on the road. Miami 4 games, Tampa 3 games. Now we don't know how it's going to be played, but regardless, open up so they play Miami, they play Tampa, then they play the Yankees right off the bat. Then they play the Cardinals division game, Reds division game, Nationals, Guardians, Angels, Dodgers, Cubs. That's April. It's kind of a mixed bag. You're playing some tough teams, got some division games in there. You start off 10-20. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's enough. I don't know if that's enough. It's enough for me. We know how stubborn that, like you have the excuses of like, it's a tough month, but like the rowdy excuse, which I mean, it did kind of work out for them. I mean, they hung on them really long and it did turn around, although still it wasn't a good year. That's what we're afraid of. Like at the end of 2025, it still ended up being a good year. But you know what? You look at this, you look at that. We're not this bad of a team. This is going on. We're better than this. Like, I just hear the Pirates feeding you that instead of, we need to be accountable. Derek kept you here. We believed in you. We have all this. We know we're a better team. We know we should be better. So why aren't we better? You got to go. Right? Again, like that's the accountability part there. I'm tossing him at that point in time. Next year matters. It matters.
Yeah, and I think we've been down this rabbit hole a lot of times where even 2 years ago on postgame shows, we were saying 2024 is the year where that's the year they're pointing at, that they're going to compete. They didn't. But I think this year, and obviously if we had our say, he would have been gone 2 years ago. Because why? Why keep him? He's not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, if he kept through it, I think if you start next year poorly, or even honestly, as soon as this team gets 5 games below 500, let's say, let's just say they start off like they did this year and falter a little bit, and you get 5 games below 500, gotta be fired then. Doesn't matter. Don't care. He's gotta go. And I think the argument that you can really make this year is that you have your horses now. You have Skeens. You have Keller. You have Jones from opening day, as long as no injuries happen. And you have a Andy Rodriguez coming back. You have a healthy Brian Hayes. You have Brian Reynolds. Like, look around the diamond. Everyone's there. Everyone that you were planning on competing with, they're there. If you don't, you might start the year off hot, but the second it falters, and it will falter, he's got to go. He's got to go. And, like, he could prove us all wrong here. And it might just click with everyone this year because it's happened before. Clint Hurdle was in like his 6th year with the Rockies and they caught fire. But that's like an exception to the rule. It does not happen.
Right.
So I feel like the Pirates are counting on that exception to happen. And if you're in Ben Sherrington's shoes, you already stuck your neck out for this guy. Nope, not doing it anymore. And I guess my concern here is that next hitting coach is next to Donnie Kelly. Those two are going to be up for the interim manager job.
Mm-hmm.
And it's probably going to be Donnie Kelly, but you need a good hitting coach to be able to move forward whenever Derek Shelton's gone, because I would put it at like a 50-50 chance that Derek Shelton does not finish next year. Because I don't see this team improving enough. And as it stands right now, there's just not enough here. So I think Derek Shelton will be fired at some point next year. And then who's next in line? This hitting coach is important for that aspect. Because if you hire an actual good hitting coach, someone that maybe they have some managerial experience, that's usually who you lean on a little bit more for the managerial position. Maybe that's the option you go with.
It's
spitballing.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's all you can do right now, because there's like still a lot of unknowns right now. And that's the thing. Like, they're out of excuses. Like, again, like that's the bit of the problem right now. You can excuse, like, Shelton he could make the argument. I'm saying he's correct, but he could make the argument and say, you guys saw Andy Haynes, you guys saw this hitting. Like, Jack Swinsky shouldn't have been this bad. It's like they're the problem, right? And congratulations, guys, you got rid of the problem, so now I can do my job. You can make that argument. I'm not saying it's a good one, but you can make it. I'm sure he made the argument. That's why he's still there. That's now gone, though. So, okay, fine. We're now going to give you what you need. You said you weren't set up for success. So now we're going to do that. What do you want, Derek? You want a new hitting coach? Go get him. You want a new bullpen coach? Go get him. You need a new strength and conditioning because the guys are getting injured and not staying healthy and this and that. Brian, who could be good, but he can't stay on the field. Like, you need that? Okay, go ahead. Right? We're giving you now what you need. Want a new R&D guy? Or are we not providing you with what you need also? All right, we'll do that. Here you go, Derek. Here's what you need to succeed. We're now giving it to you. You can't do it now. Who is it? Because you told me it wasn't you. We got you what you said you needed, so you can do what you needed to do, and now you're not doing it. So now what's the problem? It's got to be you. It's got to be you. So I'm with you. Again, like we talk about windows, and I'm not sure the Pirates are actually thinking this way as well, but we understand the Skeens window and how important it is. You got to capitalize. This is already year one of that window. Gone. Bye-bye. It's flown away. It's gone in the distance. It's a finite amount of time. You can't let next year also go because you start out 10 and 20 with the team that you're putting together, with all the pieces that Derek Shelton says he needs, and say, well, we think we're going to be okay. We think we are. The numbers show we're actually a second place team. You know, when we run the numbers, we're a second place team. So we're gonna let it marinate. We're gonna get there. You can't do that. There has to be some urgency. Finally, you have to say, listen, we are a second place team. What are you doing? Get out of there. Give me someone who can make us a second place team. As I keep going back, like I was talking about, for the people who want to say they improved, you can talk your talk to say this team improved. They were a 76-win team. You might think they're an 80-win team. You might think they're an 82-win, but they're an 76-win team. They did not improve. That's what they were. So next year, that can't be the excuse that you think you're better. You are what you are. And if they're 10-20, they're a 10-20 team. We need to make a change. Something needs to be different. Let's move forward. That's Don Kelly. That's Don Kelly at that point in time. The problem is, I also don't think that's going to be the solution. But you need change. You can't have different results with the same mindset, the same system, same thing putting into it. You got to have something different. You got to have some type of spark. And you're the big advocate for this too. You talk about the Cardinals all the time, Matheny. Like, and I'll give you your talk here. But yes, if it's that way next year, 10-20, I personally am saying adios. Let's move forward.
Oh, I'll even say, like, if they don't make the playoffs next year, it's a failure. You failed. Plain and simple. Everyone needs to be fired. Not good enough. 83 wins, 84 wins. I don't care what the number is. It's not good enough. You have to make the playoffs next year. Because you're in year 6? God, it's been a blur.
It'll be year 6.
We've been through 6 years of this crap.
For everyone that was upset and hated the term, it's year 5 in a rebuild. I promise you, as of today, you won't have to hear that again. Now you get to hear it's year 6 of a rebuild. You're welcome.
No, it's not a rebuild anymore. You get fired. You're done. If you thought I was obnoxious last year and you were in the YouTube chat telling me I was stupid because I was just being super negative, just wait if they're terrible next year. And I pray to God they're not, because I can't watch more terrible baseball. But if they are, move the team to Montreal. I'm done. I'm so sick of this crap.
Tampa might be in Montreal for
I'm
a
already
bit of time,
riling
actually.
myself up hypothetically, because you know what's coming, dude. You know what's coming. Because Jim was on here telling us about how much money they have to spend, and it's just nothing. They don't have nothing left. I don't know. I'm sad again. But
Don't
just
be sad.
fire people.
Don't cry.
Just please.
Dry your eye.
My God, if I was that bad at my job for as long as Derek Shelton has been and failed as many times as he has been, I'd be on the street.
As you said earlier, that's a conversation, or however you worded it, for another time. That's a song for another dance.
Yeah, it's a song for another time.
Yeah. Because again, I'm with you. If we had the results that Derek Shelton had, we wouldn't have a job.
All right. Hey, maybe it all turns around next year. We're going to go to spring training. We're going to be positive as ever, because we're going to see Neil Cruz hitting bombs, and Brian Hayes will be back, and Brian Reynolds will be playing first base, and we're going to be all in. Paul Skeens will be pumping 102. And we're going to be all in.
And what I want to set straight right now, too, like, as we're talking this, we're not here telling you that they can't be and they won't be a playoff team. Like, this is what's going to happen and Shelton needs to go. But if this is what happens, like, yes, they could be a good team. They can be a good team. They need to be a good team. So they have to do the stuff to make sure they are. But if they aren't, shit's going to hit the fan.
It has to.
Has to.
And I'm sorry, if you get caught with the shit, sucks to be you.
Ben has to he has to turn it on. He's the one that has to turn the fan on, stand there in front of it and turn it on, catch it first. But Shelton will be the first casualty, of course.
It's going to be an interesting offseason, man.
Oh, it will. It will, for multiple reasons.
I find I'm hoping I'm not going to be angry. I will be. I'm going to be angry.
Let's say this. This will be fair. This offseason, we'll have moments where we're angry. We'll have moments where we're excited. And we'll have moments that we're indifferent. Guaranteed. All three of them.
No. I'm not guaranteeing any of that.
Doesn't mean it has to be about the Pirates. We just will have our own personal moments we're excited.
Nope, definitely
Oh,
not
never,
guaranteeing
I'm
any
talking
of that
about.
now.
Sounds good.
Nope, I will never be happy.
That's fair. I forgot who was on with me.
Yeah.
I thought this was
and Jim.
Starbucks for a second.
Yeah, you forgot. You're drinking water. That's why.
Anywho, yeah. So,
No coffee.
you want to wrap this up anyway?
Yeah, I think I'm out of steam. I don't know if I want to. We got a lot to talk about throughout the rest of the offseason. A lot's going to happen, hopefully. Curious to see who wins this World Series, but also just don't care. Don't care. I don't care.
Well, it's the
I
last
don't.
series of baseball.
Yeah,
This is it.
I'm ready to. You know what it is? I'm ready to move on to the offseason. I want free agency now.
For the good of the show, yes, because in a week from now, we're gonna have even more of nothing to talk about. So good luck on that, fellas. But yeah, it's one more series. This is the last thing of baseball. So enjoy this if you choose to, because it's then gone. But then yes, it's the off season, and I love the off season. A lot of subjectivity, a lot of talk, a lot of just discussion, open to whatever. Everyone starts anew. The Pirates have a chance. They could win the World Series next year. They could. So it'll be fun. I can't wait. But before we get to the offseason this Friday, Tyler, what are you doing this Friday?
Little sicko sound off. Little caller show. Me and the boys gonna chat. Me and the ladies gonna chat. Whoever wants to chat, we'll chat.
There you go. And if you get into our Discord, if you haven't already, and because you want to participate in Sicko Sound Off, as Jim did for our debut show, get in our Discord. That's where we funnel the guests from. So we have our little channel there it's like a giveaway, like you enter it and it chooses 4 winners. So the winners will be announced tomorrow night at 10. Those will be our guests that you get to come on and talk your ish with Tyler. Ask him a question. You can tell him whatever you want.
Let's just let it rip.
Tell him how pretty he is.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
That's all I care about.
So there you go. So this Friday, 8:00, the second edition of Sicko Sound Off, hosted by Tyler this time. And then, of course, we're back on Monday for Starbucks and NS9LIVE or NS9 Plus. We'll find out. Maybe we'll have a guest on.
Who won't be there next week on NS9LIVE?
There's a potential chance I'm not.
Huh. Weird.
Just putting it out there.
Weird. Tyler's always there.
So if the views are down, I understand.
Yeah, it'll be up. The A team's coming next week.
Am I the Shelton of the group?
God, does that make me the Ben Sherrington or the
do
Tannenbaum?
you guys need your Don Kelly?
Yeah.
But for real, though, let's get out of here. I do appreciate everyone as always. We'll see you on Friday for Sicko Sound Off. And if you haven't checked out our show yesterday, should be a good show with John Parado. Check it out. Ryan and John were on. Good stuff. Just a lot of discussion, a lot of talk, a lot of stories, fun things. But that's it. I'm done. I'm done promoting. Let's get out of here. We will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Peace out, Scouts.
Hey, you all. Thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.